Everyone says that discipline is hard. I don't think it is. I think that discipline feels hard up until a certain point, and then everything flips. And then from there, it's actually harder not to do the thing than to do it. And that's what I want to unpack in this video, because what I've found is that when you get to that point where you're doing something hard and then it flips, it changes your life quite quickly. So I think the first thing we need to talk about is the myth behind all of this, and that's really that people mistake discipline for constant effort, just a constant pain, a grind that goes on forever. But real discipline isn't willpower, it's an identity shift. And when your behavior fuses with your identity and you find that level of internal alignment, all of the friction that you feel disappears. It just evaporates. Most people never get there because they quit in that early phase when there's still a lot of friction. It still costs a lot of energy. They confuse the cost with really identity not fitting yet. I'll give you an example. I used to go to the gym. I've gone to the gym my entire life. Like, I've been gymming since I was about 15 years old. I'm now 29, on or off 14 years. And I remember, and I've said this to my friends as recently as last year, I fucking hate the gym. Like, I just hate going. I go because I have to, because I'm like, I remember I would look in the mirror and I'm like, I already have an average physique. Like, I don't want to get any fatter or any wimpier. Like, I have to go to the gym. I have no choice. But I used to just view it as dead time. Like, I'd show up there, do a half-assed workout, like just do the bare minimum to not get fat or not be a skinny wimp. And I'd leave and I'd resent it and be like, fuck, I just lost an hour or I lost 45 minutes or whatever it was. And this year, something completely changed. And to give you perspective, I could count on my hand the amount of workouts that I've missed since July. We're a week away from November, and there'd be a good excuse for all of them. It's really got to the point where it feels so wrong not to go. I don't negotiate with myself at all. In my head, I'm like, I'm the kind of person that goes to the gym. I stuck it long enough to get that feedback loop rolling where I actually see results, which then reinforces your desire to go. And then throughout that process, I found some enjoyment somewhere that I never used to get from it. And now the idea of missing a session feels much worse than going. No matter how shit I feel, I know that if I can get to the gym and get to the end of the workout, I will always leave feeling better than how I felt before I went. And so I go. So I think as far as my personal experience goes, I feel like I've identified the pattern that's at play here. So basically, and it applies to anything, like the gym's just one example, but really when you want to start out something new, you suck at it. It's outside your comfort zone. It doesn't feel good. And so despite that, what you need to do is you need to actually push through it for a sustained period of time. You need to show up and get the reps in. And that's the hell period. That's the uncomfortable part. That's the inevitable pain that you must go through. Once you have done enough repetition, we're not talking about a year or 2 years, we're literally talking about 4 to 6, maybe 8 weeks at the absolute tops of consistent repetition. What happens is you start to change. Something happens mentally. I'm not actually sure, like I'm not a scientist, I can't explain this properly, but something happens. I've noticed it happen in me where it's like all that friction starts to disappear. Maybe it's just simply that you're starting to get positive feedback come back from the universe for whatever it is that you're doing. I don't actually know the explanation, but something changes mentally and it becomes more automatic. It's like early on, you're forcing yourself into alignment. You're like really forcing the process of like, I am a person that does this. And then a flywheel starts to spin and eventually an internal drive takes over. The alignment actually is real. You've manifested it and made it true, and then it's self-reinforcing loop from that point. At that point, you stop spending energy deciding like, should I go to the gym, should I not, or should I do this thing, or should I not? It's like the decision's already made for you. You just do it. There's no self-negotiation. There's no burned loops. So right now for me, in my life, as another example, content is the thing that is like the gym was for me a year ago. It's like, especially LinkedIn content, publishing authority style articles and things like that. It's like, I don't enjoy it at all. It doesn't come naturally. You're putting yourself out there in front of all these people that you don't know. It's like a professional business audience. It dials up the discomfort meter to the red line. But despite that, I can draw similarities between my experience with the gym where, I hated it, but I stuck it long enough to get positive feedback, and also to just wire myself to say, I am the kind of person that is in shape, that goes to the gym every day and trains, like, no matter how shit I feel. I'm trying to, I can draw parallels between right now. It's like I don't enjoy publishing, but I'm doing it anyway, and I'm in that phase of high friction. But I know how this game goes because I've been here before, and I know that this isn't going to be like this forever, or at least I fucking hope. And really all I need to do is I just need to hold the line with this content and stay in it long enough for the internal change to take over, for the feedback to start to come. And content, I think, it's a much harder game than the gym. And in business in general, you'll find that fitness is one thing where it's probably one of the easier domains to really get this process going and become go from a person who's unfit to a person who's fit and in shape. As long as you've got a good program and you're doing the right things, you get feedback quite quickly, especially in the mirror. Like, you can drop weight very fast if you get your diet under control. I think it's one of the easiest because the feedback then quickly reinforces the system, whereas content is challenging because you can be publishing content, and many creators will know this. When you start publishing, you have no audience, and you really do just feel like you're shipping into the void, like no one cares. And that's true. And that's really hard to sort of get your head around, especially if you're a perfectionist type. It's hard to even ship if you're a perfectionist, but you just have to. You have to push through the friction and all that inertia and just break it and just hold the line for months. And it can literally be months before you get any tangible feedback. I feel like that feedback delay, especially with harder things, the gym's an easy one, but with really harder things, like publishing content especially, I think that's why most people never cross the line. They're not actually bad at discipline. What they're bad at is patience, waiting for the proof, waiting for it to come when it's something that's on a really delayed payoff curve. I think the paradox is this: it only feels hard up until the point where you've proven to yourself that you can do it. At that point, it all flips, the friction lifts, and it becomes effortless. It becomes automatic. It flips from external force to internal gravity. And the only way to reach that point is to hold the line long enough that your brain actually starts to trust you and believe. And that's really what I'm chasing now. It's like I've seen that happen personally with the gym, and now I'm trying to achieve that same result in every domain in my life. Business especially, it's a lot more challenging. As I said, it's like stepping it up another level, trying to normalize and feel comfortable with higher order challenges, especially in business. But nonetheless, I feel like it's the same underlying process where you just show up, you put in the reps, and eventually it's, the friction lifts, and then it becomes automatic. And then you get to this end state where things are just effortless for you. It's like, and if you think about someone that you admire, like I can think of many sort of people that I look up to. I'm like, wow, that person's super successful. It's like, you've got to imagine from their altitude, they're running a system. They've built it over years. It's been compounding for years. And they've got to this point where for them, they're just showing up and continuing to feed the system with the inputs. And I think many of them would experience that it's easier for them to keep their system running than to let it entropy. I think most people never get to really experience what true discipline feels like, because they give up in that friction phase. We all want to give up when shit's uncomfortable, when you're outside your comfort zone, when you feel the pain, when you're 2-3 weeks in and you've made no visual progress, or there's no feedback from the universe saying, yes, what you're doing is working. It's like, that's the hardest part, that deep in the trench moment where you're 4 weeks into something or even more, and you've just got nothing back that says, yes, this is working even a little bit. It's like, how does one not get absolutely overwhelmed with doubt and just go, fuck this, I'm throwing in the towel, But it's usually there when you're so close to the tipping point. So that's really the casualty of all of this, is that I feel so many people try something, they want to change their life. They're like, yo, I'm going to lock in on this. Get to 4 weeks, you get to 5 weeks in, you've got nothing back. You might be close, you might be right at the edge of that breakthrough, but you just don't allow yourself, you just give up just a little prematurely, and it costs everything, and you were right at the tipping point where things were going to get easier. When you get to that tipping point, the ability to just be able to do that thing without thinking, whatever it is It's a freedom. It's not a punishment. It's crazy that what starts as a punishment actually becomes liberating. And once you've experienced that in one area of your life, you will spend so much time trying to replicate it everywhere else because you see the impact that it has. That's my sort of take on the discipline paradox. If you've ever pushed long enough to see that flip, then you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's funny really, because even this video that I'm recording now is a micro part of that same process. And I know one day I'll look back on this, and this does feel like work for me right now. I know one day soon, or maybe not soon, but hopefully soon, I'll look back on this and it won't even feel like work anymore.